GPS signal being the starting signal.
Well, we'll have to be alright here.
Marathon at the fun run in Grimsby. And it's back to the Grimsby Leisure Centre right now. A marvellous crowd of show gathered before a roadshow caravan. And then we have a couple of special guests. Eric.
Once again from Grimsby. I've been seeing him up with that one for ages upon ages. He got hit by the wall. He was one or two of us was a little bit cool here this morning, but well, we'll be fine, I'm sure. Oh, the number you aimed before me, 413 and 414.
So here we are at the start of the 5th Humber Bridge Marathon. This year has been supported by Haudel Services, and there's over £9,000 worth of prizes and training grounds, so therefore we are sure to see a great race. Stay Pickering giving his views to the lady Humberside commentators.
Thanks a lot to do, but watch out for 999, who is Harry. He's a young lady here who's got the spray with the cups on and I want to talk to you for a second.
Well, no, much
Have a look at
yeah, just to show that the scoring is the running back.
Medical cover to deal with
you can see there how we did it.
As well as the report,
not
hand over the full course to provide assistance. One such
much windier, we might have had a caller as well. All the wheelchair participants, every bit as serious as the runners. Certainly braver. There's a large referee's car.
All of them hoping to do really well.
Just keep on the inside of it, I think.
We'll get them all safely across the bridge and they'll be in the Grimsby.
So I think I'd like to thank the organising committee for making this a splendid event, an annual event, and let one continue.
And from everyone here at BBC Radio Humberside, the best of luck. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Exactly 11 o'clock, the 1985 Humber Bridge Marathon gets underway. 1,400 runners from all over the country and from the far away Canada set out to get to Grimsby the hard way. 285 yards over the Humber Bridge, through Parkland Humber, Barrow on Humber, Oldstreet, Brockleby, Kilby, Hewling, and ending up at the Grimsby Leisure Centre on Cromwell Road. This is the runners from top-class runners will be setting to arrive at Grimsby in about 2 hours and 10 minutes time. And if they do that, it's going to be a new course record. Others have thought so, the fun runners will be gritting their teeth and getting down to it, a combination of months of training. A colourful cavalcade of runners at the Legion Mile, the purple veterans, Civil Hall Athletic Club, the blue and white with Grimsby Harriers well to the fore, and red, of course, at East Hull, and there's plenty others too. Runners from all over Humberside, 72 ladies amongst them, all looking to be part of the Humber Bridge Marathon 1985. When I ran in the last 4 years at this stage, so straight away we saw Shane Pace take the lead. He's now been swallowed up, but Shane's famous for this. He even led the Great North Run in June, so we're used to that. But at the moment it's Darren Bolton of the City of Hull Athletic Club leading the field, but it's a very steady pace. And see what happens in this field. Then we've got Jim Dingwall. Then we have I've been looking out for actually is Paul Campbell. I haven't seen him yet.
prisons were ordered out in retaliation
So
to
as
the
the race
expansion
comes
from
towards
Britain
the
of 25 alleged Soviet spies disclosed by the Cape Inspector Oleg Gordiev-6.
There's one accident group
The
there.
big Humber Bridge Marathon has
You know
just
what?
got underway.
That's
1,400 runners have started from Boothferry Road in Hull and are heading for the finish at Grimsby Leisure Centre. Studio and Charlie Partridge at the start, commentating for Radio Humberside, got the event underway.
It's still feeling easy.
Why?
There's no clear leader at all. The multicoloured runner on the left is Darren Bolton, his Rolling Star. And that's Sean Callaghan just running on the grass there. And the West Yorkshire Police. As they start a steady climb up the Boothferry Hill. Just over 1 mile into the race. Does sound the end of the race later, Jim Dingwall. He's buried in that mass runners there. Doesn't need to do anything at all yet. And with a 4th, 7th gal at the bases. So as I come to the toll booth, you get the first sight of Jim. It's around 2 miles an hour. Following is Haudel. These two areas. Army 14.
No.
Told me before the race he's determined to go with whatever the pace is. But at the moment he's got no problem with that. You start to see the race come through now. There's lots of familiar faces here. Steve McLeod there, in the purple city of Humber. And you look at the wind strength. The wind is really gusting high there. Straight down the river Humber. Showing pose there, and the star. Familiar face. Now you see the race snaking its way back along the approach road. Wheelchair competitor there, quite a way to go. The runners are diverted onto the footpath. Something like 80 or 90 metres to this course this year. Which may well be significant for 1 or 2 runners as they suffer towards the end of this event. You can also see quite a congestion now. It's a very big field to put on the footpath. This stage. But it was forced on the Bridgeport because of the excessive wind being experienced on the top of the bridge. And there's our, over there's been an exception made for the wheelchair athletes. And there's the road to himself. And in front is Jim Dingwall. A little injection of pace, but certainly nothing serious yet. Callaghan in fourth. The all blue there is Paul Campbell in Bolton. Certainly one of the favourites. Won the Copenhagen Marathon 2 weeks ago. There's another climb. This is quite unusual. There's a beautiful shot there of the Humber Bridge approaches. As the runners come towards the top of the hill, taking the lead is Keith Angus.
This is about it.
There's a shot, as you can see the runners as far as you can into the distance. Still pouring over the Humber Bridge. 5 miles, 30 minutes. Which the wind due to the cages using with the big money at stake. Nobody wants to make a mistake. And the policeman, John Callaghan, took the lead. He's running very well. That's time 2:21. Certainly they're well outside. There's only one place to go. He's in front and maybe feeling crazy. This is the village of Bar. And now the wind is on the back of the runners. Very west on the right shoulder. So it's very helpful now. You can see the runners are running quite freely, easily, quite quickly. Very good shot there, Sean Callaghan in the lead still. On the outside there's Bill Dominic. That whole mess of illegal feeding going on here. You want to complaints about this. You saw one or two of the runners turning and talking to that attendant. The drinks are only supposed to be took on to official feeding stations.
I tell you what,
that's the clock car. So that's something on the side.
Yesterday, friend of my love, and best wishes, and also the Tracy Oxford, who was
second place now is Colin Kirk.
This is the best way to do it, Dan.
See you, hot runner.
The door all right, Colin?
With this group, nobody's in any sort of trouble. They're all very experienced runners. There's a group of 10, I believe, here, or thereabouts. Just one runner slightly knocked back now, that's John Barker of Grimsby. Despite the wind, it's a nice sunny day, clear air, and a wind that is helpful. This is at about 9 miles. To Darren Bilton there on the outside, Trevor Shields on the inside. And then I don't recognise in the middle there. These are all good club runners. That's Terry Davis for the City of Hull. Been running well recently. That's Mike Lake. We're very surprised to see him back here. He certainly has the potential to run under 2:30, but I don't think he will today now. And that's Brian Jones. Looks like he's running a steady race. Best time of 2 hours 25. hoping to do that today. I think the combination of the wind on the back and the sun will be making it quite warm for the runners, although the air temperature is not very high. Any dirt in there, any more red, sounds good. Best marathon time is 2:36. Brown, 48 years old. I'm looking out for Glynis Penny now. She may well have been in that group. Best lady ever to compete in this event. That's Steve McLeod, number 74. Haven't seen much of him this year. He looks like he's running quite well. Bring in Harry's representative. There's Shane Page. He's looking at his watch. Got Rob Robinson on his shoulder. Trying to work out he's trying to beat him there. He races every race. A good shot there. Looks like he's enjoying himself. And there's Terry Davis. And that's Mike Lake. Brian Jones. Good shot there at two well-known local runners. Mike Lake has just left the army, trying to settle down to civilian life. And Brian, well, he's just trying to settle down. There's Trevor Shields looking around. I think he was in 1500 metres. Must mean he's beginning to suffer a bit. It's Darren Lewis is taking the lead off him. This man's Nightingale. He's way back on the place. Must be having some sorts of problems. He had been expected to do very well. Glover on through at Louth. Win the successes of the running booth. The best marathon now. 2:30. John Geiger of Grimsby. John Carrigan and Martin Hobson, Party Striders. Begin to suffer for that early pace. As we come up to 12 miles. It is evident that there's less spectators than the previous years. Carnival event, the better or worse. Colin Kirkland there is suffering a bit. He's off the back of the pace. It's Bill Domney there. It's a good shot, Keith Angus. all very good shots. Looking for the sponges. Haudel there. He looks a bit heavy for a marathon. He's doing very well. There's a good shot to see how problems on 2 runs behind are going through now. They are being stretched, called away. As the big three seem to be making a break. These are the 3 favourites. Best times of 2:11, 2:14, 2:16 respectively. Number 1, 2, 3, filling those positions. However, right in front, we have the Sheffield refuse collector, Albert Martin, 40 years of age, so he's obviously in first back position. If he wins the race, he wins 2,500, and if he wins the first back, he wins 500. So either way, let's do well. This is Robbersby, and we're coming towards 14 miles. That's Boothferry. The race is strung out now, and it's not possible to get many of the following rows. See Colin Kirk, and he's actually clawing his way back to this group of 5, 6 runners. So Colin's in 7th place. Malcolm Martin has decided to fall back into the pack. Jim's looking comfortable. So too is Keith Penny. I haven't talked about him yet. Run 2 63-minute half marathons this year, with a best of 63.19 in the Gateshead half marathon in June. Pat Haudel there still looks relaxed and comfortable. Once again, really good shots. All these runners are concentrating like mad in this. Beginning to become a race now. As we pass 14 miles, probably the better way to travel. The roads are resurfaced and it's quite smooth and quick. You can see there's a little undulations. This is just a little railway bridge, but it looks worse. Probably feels just the same. These runners have got 15 miles in their legs now.
Working now?
Yeah.
And from the 15-mile mark, he waits again at 17, and Malcolm Martin has took a dramatic lead. 2 miles, he's opened up a lead, I think, over 100 metres or thereabouts from the big three. Penny, Dingwall.
Go on, Jim.
Just behind them, Colin Kirk is still living in. Pat Haudel now is back suffering. So Malcolm Martin has made his mark on this race and stretched it right out. There's no comeback to Malcolm. If he's not at least 2% better than all the other runners in the field, he can't possibly win. With the best marathon around 2:25, I think that's unlikely. So we have to suspect that he's gone too soon. That's Bill Dominey, a 2:18 man, and he's well back now. Ran an excellent race in Glasgow the year before last. 4th, I believe, in 2:18, and that. Glasgow is the biggest marathon in the world, outside of London. Martin Hobson and Sean O'Callaghan, Valley Striders. They're obviously looking to place well in a team event. believe that is right of Sheffield. Sheffield are well placed as well. Now John Barger. He's suffering a bit now. Best position in this place is second. That's Terry Lonergan. So he's running on his own. He's running his own pace, and he's well placed. Flo Bromfield of Louth. Good shots here. Two runners of very strong styles. Thompson there won the Derby Gramophone in May. His best time 2:23.07.
How many miles? We've just got past the 17-mile mark, and the field's quite well spread out at this particular point. We're now coming up to about the 17.5-mile mark, and we're just passing Dominey of Sheffield AC. Sheffield have quite a strong team out at this particular point, and he's well up the field, running quite strongly with the following wind. Runners, you had another Sheffield runner there, Keith Angus of Sheffield, followed by number 29, Pat Haudel of East Hull Harriers. Pat, of course, has had some very good runs just recently, and is running very strongly there. We're now coming up to number 2, Colin Kirkham, Coventry Godiva. A vet, of course, Colin, and he's running very, very strongly at this particular point. Conditions are really ideal at this point because you've got a very good following wind. There you are. Paul Campbell of Bolton Harriers, we've just gone by there, again well up the field. We're past the 18-mile marker now, and we're coming up to the leading bunch now. There must be a good gap between the third and the second place man. We're coming up to. Here we've had a very interesting development. Mike Martin, Sheffield AC, also a vet of course, has just lost the lead to Jim Dingwall. Jim has taken the lead after being following, tracking Mike Martin for several miles. He's looking quite strong now, very deep concentration, but he's got a backwind. The field's well strung out behind him, and he seems to be moving quite strongly. I would imagine he's taken something in the region of about 25 yards out of Mike Martin since the 17-mile marker. In fact, probably, I would imagine, in the last half of a mile. And he's gaining quite strongly, whereas if you look at Mike Martin, he's certainly beginning to sway a little, rock a little around the road, whereas Jim's got a very determined look on his face, and he's running straight out in front. 20-mile point, and I can give you Jim's time at 20 miles here. Jim actually is running at 20 miles, gone through 20 in 1:48.23. 1:48.23, which given the slow start, when they were running barely over 6-minute mile pace, if that at all, then you can see how much the backwind has helped them build up. But Jim's establishing a very decisive lead now over Mike Martin. I think this appears to be the dominant break of the race. So we can see the leader coming up now, Jim Dingwall. Well clear now of Mike Martin. In fact, the lead seems to be growing yard by yard. Let's see just how far Jim is in front. Mike Martin's coming along, but as you can see, he's swaying around the road a little bit, cutting every yard that he possibly can at this particular moment. But he is something in the region of 20 21, 22 seconds behind, but still well clear of the third place runner at this particular point, who's Colin Kirkham of Keith Penny of Cambridge Harriers. Keith's dropped back a bit. He looks to be struggling as well at this particular point, and he's got quite a bunch on his shoulder at this particular point as they come around the corner. To Colin Kirkham there. Here we see number 29 coming up, and this of course is Pat Haudel. Pat's running very strongly. In fact, he looks quite fit. And a long gap between there to the next runner, who is Keith Angus of Sheffield. First of a very strong Sheffield team coming up. Keith looks very strong there. There's a very big gap between Keith and anybody else down the road. Let's see, Keith must be at least 30, 40 seconds clear of anybody else at this particular moment. The wind is causing all sorts of problems to everybody, probably except the runners at this point. And again, passing Keith Angus. Keith's looking very strong, and of course he's one of several vets who are featuring very strongly high up the field. It's a bit ironic, really, that he's unlikely to actually take the Vets prize, unless Martin helps that considerably, but he's still running a very, very strong race. Here we see number 31, of course, Paul Campbell of Bolton. Struggling a little bit at this particular point, but still running at a fair pace. But I think he might just be caught in the next mile or so. Pat Haudel. Oh, Pat's looking very strong, really, very relaxed. And he's running quite smoothly. We just passed it in 1:54.18. We see number 3, Keith Penny, who's been overtaken by Colin Kirkham. I'd say Keith looks to be in a slightly bit more of a tired state at this particular moment than Colin. They've got the wind to the side of them at this particular point on the course, which will tend to knock them out of the stride a little bit. And here once more we see Mike Martin featuring very strongly, definitely in contention for the first Vets prize. Mike, of course, won the Ferriby 10 earlier in the year. Here we see Jim. He's really opened up the throttle now. Within the passage of about a mile and a half, he must have gained at least 200, 300 yards on Mike Martin. It's a well thought out break by the looks of it, very clear, and I would imagine it must be the decisive break of the race. Jim's looking quite strong. He's looking stronger than any of the people in the pack immediately behind him, because one or two of those are looking, although they're doing a good time, they're looking quite ragged. And it doesn't look to me as if anybody's going to catch Jim at this point unless he suffers any real problems. But he looks to be moving quite strongly at this particular point. We're within 5 miles of the finish, and it's going to be very politic for us to move on to the finish at this particular point. Otherwise, we might get caught up in the traffic. And at this particular point, we'll sign off now until we get to the finish of the race, and we watch to see who actually comes through the line first of all.
We got the wind doing very well, we got the Ferry doing extremely well with
Well, we're coming up to 2:20.45 now, and we've just seen the lead car come into sight, which must mean that the first runner is quite close behind. He's not going to break 2:20, but he's going to be within 2:21. And here we see Jim Dingwall coming up to the finish, running strongly as ever, 2:21 at this very moment. Way clear. Jim's looking behind him, but there's no need to worry, because he's got the sight of the finish in front of him. He raises his hand to cheer, and he's coming across the line as strongly as if he'd never run a marathon for months. And there comes Jim Dingwall, a worthy winner. 2:21:25.
Well done, Jim.
Well in, Jim.
Don't find a beer today.
Come and get...
I'll get him in.
Yeah, go and grab him. Go and grab him.
Jimmy!
Well, yeah, can do it. No. Jim, you got a minute? See, Jim is looking quite clear. And quite fresh indeed. In fact, there's no sign of the second place man, which shows just how much he's taken out of the field in the last 4 or 5 miles. In fact, he must be at least a minute clear already, and there's still no sign of the second place man coming across the line. Well, the second group, and it's going to be quite a struggle for the end here. Who have we got coming in now? Keith Penny is just holding off. It's going to be a sprint finish between Keith Penny and it's Colin Kirkham just coming clear at the end. Colin Kirkham's going to come across the line first, just taking out of Keith Penny. Well done. And there comes Keith Penny in 2:23:02. Well run in. Those two competitors must be something like 1.5 minutes behind the winner. And we've got a fourth person coming in now, and it's Pat Haudel, who's coming in very strongly. This is his first marathon attempt, and Pat's been training very hard. He's been on a special carbon depletion diet for the race, and he's going to get in the 2:24 quite easily. He's going to do a time of 2:23:40 approximately. Well done, Pat. Here we see him coming very strongly across the line. Well in, Pat, and Pat comes home in 2:23:41. A strong finish there, Pat. And Pat collapses on the ground at the finish. Well run, Pat. And here we see the next man coming home. The next man, 2:24, about Keith Angus from Sheffield, is the first of a very strong Sheffield team, and he's going to cross the line in 2:24:14. The first member of what I would imagine could well be the leading team. And here we see another man coming on behind him, swaying around the road a bit. He's veering around a bit, but nevertheless he's going to do a good time. Malcolm Martin here, winner of the Ferriby 10 earlier this year. He looks to be struggling quite badly now. He was further up the field before, and he's locked out quite well, quite a bit towards the end. But he's still done a very good time, 2:21:42, and there he is, second vet over the line in 2:21:44. But Jim Dingwall, of course, ran the Adidas Manchester Marathon some 2 weeks ago, and has done it's very good, really, to recover as quickly as he has done. The runners, of course, at this moment are still way strung out across the field. The next man to come home now, 2:22, is another Sheffield man. And this man, number 22, is Pickering of Sheffield. Sorry. Dominic of RAF Fimbrook, coming over the ground, 2:25:28. Well run. We'll find that the runners are very much strung out until we get to about the 2:35:240 mark. And indeed they won't start coming in thickly until about 2:50 and further on up the field. The last few miles is what really takes it out of people in this sort of a race, from 20 onwards.
I'll have a word with Jim.
Yeah, get him to come across and have a word if we can. We'll use that list while you're over there. This race, of course, has attracted a great deal of media attention. The 2,500 prize has also drawn out one or two of the top runners, and we've got a bigger field for this event than we've had in previous years. Coming in towards the finish, this man's just going to be outside of 2:27, outside of 2:26 I should say, and we've got number 9 coming here, Mike Hobson of Valley Striders, a resident of Leeds, coming over the line now to record 2:27:03, followed very closely behind by number 5. Sean O'Callaghan of Valley Striders as well. Again, coming over strongly, 2:27:14. That's a good run by Valley Striders. In fact, could this be a third Valley Striders man coming home as well, which would probably give them the team prize, I would imagine. And here we see number 854, again of Valley Striders. Well run. It must really give Valley Striders a good chance of taking the team prize. Yeah, they've lost me beer. First one over.
Full programme.
Yeah, go on. You've just got next man coming. Right, go grab him. We'll do it. Yeah. And here we see the next runner home. We've had quite a gap, something in the region of about 3 minutes between the former placeman and this man here. I'm informed quite reliably at this time as well that Valley Striders haven't actually taken the team prize, that it looks like it has actually been claimed by Sheffield AC. But both teams are packed way up the front. And here we see the next man coming home, number 13, Terry Lonergan of Valley Striders, well known in athletic circles in the north, coming across the line very steadily in 2:30:40. Again, there's been a good gap of about 1.5 minutes between that finisher and the next man home. This is 2:31:57:58. He's going to be just outside of 2:32, but he's coming in very strongly indeed. Still nobody else anywhere near him, but he's decided to make as much of a blast for the finish as he can. And this is, of course, John Barker, local here at Grimsby Harriers. Coming in very strongly, he's going to get a very big cheer from the crowd. First Grimsby man home. Well done, John Barker. 2:32:22. Got a next man coming home at this particular point in time. Again, he's veering around the room. The point is, at this particular point in the race, after several miles of having the wind behind you, you now come to turn to face the wind again for the struggle of the last few yards, which makes it just that little bit harder. And this man coming home now, number 28, is D. Wright of Hallamshire Harriers. And he's coming home quite strongly, 2:33:04. Followed a short distance behind by number 16, C. Demmett of Bury AC. He's come all the way from Manchester to run this race today, and he's managed to record a time of 2:33:16. Well done. City of Hull haven't featured too strongly apart from the winner today. Our second man home is likely to be Mike Lake. Our other runners should be somewhat way further back down the field. Terry Davis ran today, but he was only using the race as a time trial really for the Veterans Marathon in 2 weeks' time in Staffordshire. And our next place man after that, I would imagine, will be Paul Peacock from Goole. He, I would imagine, will be our next man home after Mike Lake. Actually, Pete Colley's in there. He had to drop out as well. Did he? Yeah. He's got same trouble. Right, here we see the next man home, again veering way out on the road. This wind takes quite a lot out of people at the end. And this man's probably in a degree of distress because we've lost sight of exactly where he is. But he's coming across the line here. And this is number 10, P. Hall of Grantham Harriers. Well run. 2:34:39. We're going to find people coming in quite close together now. We've got another Sheffield runner here, number 14. And this man, of course, is Dave Oldfield of Sheffield AC, coming, I think, strongly in 2:34:51. But ironically, he's going to be outside of the team prizes because he's the fourth Sheffield man home. Oh no, we've got two finishers, and I can see Brian Jones coming up. But in front of Brian Jones, we have Paul Campbell of Bolton. But Brian's, with a determined look on his face, he's going to get in what must be one of his fastest times in recent months, because his training's been very sporadic, and he's coming home in 2:35:46. Well run, Brian Jones. Well run. Well run, Brian. We've got a gap then again. I would imagine within the next few minutes we're going to see runners coming in dribs and drabs, much as we have done earlier on. As I say, we're not going to see a lot of people come across the line for some time. Have you got it left on, or is it on or is it off? Well, hell, here we see another man coming home. We're on at the moment 2:36:21. don't think before much longer we're going to see a lady coming home quite soon, I would imagine. But this man's veering all over the road once more. See the effect of the wind. I believe this is number 27, which would make him MABs of Valley Striders again. Very strong turnout by Valley Striders here. 2:36.39 as he crosses the line. All right, lads, this is number 40. Watching another man come across the line now. We're on 2:37.13, 2:37.14, and the man coming home now, he's not veering so much across the road, but it must be quite tough coming in on this last stretch. You've changed from road to grass, you've switched round running into the wind, and you're right at the end. But he's going to break 2:38 quite convincingly, and this is runner number 25, Les Alcorn of Alnwick Harriers. I've seen him run many times in the northeast. Well run, Les Alcorn, Alnwick Harriers. Good old Alnwick. The first lady in the race, who was leading some time back, was Glynis Penny, and I would imagine she's going to take the ladies' prize quite clearly. But coming into sight now is a familiar runner, Carl Nightingale. Now, Carl was expecting probably a much better time than this, but Carl's had some real struggles today. Carl Nightingale is PB of about 2:22, but Carl's had some trouble with his diet, the carbohydrate loading diet, which has caused him to have to make several pit stops on the journey through. But Carl's really struggling to get home now in 2:38.26, which will disappoint him somewhat. He's going to cross the line anyway in 2:38.31, and he's in some distress. A very poor time for Carl, but still very well run. He's got a determined look upon his face. Well run, Carl. Right, okay. Here we have the race winner, Jim Dingwall, who took the lead about 21 miles. Is that right, Jim?
About 20, I think, although by that stage, you know, what's a mile?
Yeah, exactly. You seem to, when you did take the lead, seem to go clear convincingly. Did you feel that the opposition was weakening at that point?
Well, I was surprised to get away from Keith Penny, and at that stage, if you get away from someone, you're almost certainly stronger than them. So that just left Malcolm Martin, and I closed on him quite quickly, and I thought I should just go straight by him. And after that, it was pretty plain sailing.
Any effects from the Adidas Marathon, or did you feel that you'd worn it off completely?
Well, without being too big-headed, I don't think the opposition turned out to be very high quality today, and there's no way I'm at my best today, yet I still won fairly easily.
What about the conditions? The first couple of miles, of course, were very slow. Everybody ran in a bunch. Did you feel that the wind direction that we got could have been about the best you could have expected for today?
Yeah, it was pretty good for me, because it effectively turned it into a 20-mile race with 6 miles jogging at the start, and having run the Adidas a fortnight ago, that's ideal. Yeah.
What's your next plans then, Jim? Have you anything else in line at the moment, or are you just thinking about getting a couple of pints down here?
Yeah, a couple of pints first of all.
Yeah, I thought you would do.
I hope to run in Barnsley in a couple of weeks, and then maybe the Dublin in 6 weeks' time, though. I'll see how I feel tomorrow before taking a final decision on that.
Can you tell us what sort of training you've done over the last couple of weeks to compensate for having been run 2 marathons in 2 weeks?
Just easy jogging. I took 1 day off completely, and then apart from an easy fartlek this Tuesday, 5 days ago, jogging all the days, and total of about 90 miles in the fortnight, so very, very little.
Yeah, and when did you start to feel that you'd made somewhat of a recovery, enough to at least give you a fighting chance today?
Not until the race today. I mean, I've done absolutely nothing in the fortnight to let me know whether I was okay or not. So. Yeah. But by sort of 7 or 8 miles today, I was in complete control of the situation. I thought, well, I'm at least in with a good chance of running well. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Jim. You look very strong and you seem to run the race very well. You know, I hope it all goes well for the Dublin. It's it wasn't in another 2 weeks' time. It must be the right sort of balance. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks, Rob.
I had trouble with my knee again, so I thought they scraped me off the road and put me in the back of the van. Yeah, she is. That's right, yeah. No, we've got a new programme, so that full is complete. And here we have number 23, and we've got the ladies winner here, Glynis Penny coming home. Well run, Glynis Penny, 2:42, I should say. Well run, Glynis Penny. and well up the field altogether. She's beaten some very good men runners at this particular point in time. Well run, Glynis. We've only got the competitor coming home. They will find it quite a struggle over this grass, but it's a plucky finish because there's no way you can move a wheelchair fast on the grass, and there are several runners rushing out to seat him, but I don't think he'll need any help. Yeah, this wheelchair competitor's going to make the line. He's struggling, but everybody's giving him encouragement, but nobody's going to push him. He's going to come over the line under his own steam. Over again, like several of the runners. And here once more we've got one of the other runners coming home. And this is a very strong finisher here, coming along. And as you can see, although the time's 2:44, we've still got people coming across in dribs and drabs. The runner who is coming on. Well run. Sorry, I should say this is number 65, and that's H. Ellis of Wakefield. An unattached runner. The first, I would believe, the first unattached runner home. But once again, the wheelchair man, he's got across the line in very tough conditions. Well run. 2:44. Steve Brumby coming home, and he's coming on very strongly at this particular point with Paul Peacock of City of Hull immediately behind him. Paul's had a fine race here at this particular point. In fact, Paul's taken the lead here. Paul's quite a newcomer to athletics. He's only 19 years old. He's a native of Goal. He's only been running for a year. And he's a very strong finisher, and he's going to record a time of 2:45.36, and he's finishing very strongly. Come on, Paul. Well finished, Paul. Second City of Hull man home. Well run. Well run, Paul. And here we see Derek Picker in the vet, East Hull Harriers, coming home in position 22. Well run, Derek, because he hasn't been able to put in as much training as he would like for this. And here we see Mike Lake. He's going to come home in a time of 2:46. Mike's 4 minutes outside of his PB, and he'll be disappointed with that, but he's run strongly under these sort of conditions. Well run, Mike. And the next finisher we see coming home at this particular point is number 79. And 51 coming home here as well. 51, the Union Jack man. This is Jay Millsley of Grimsby Harriers. Obviously not in his team colours, but I think he's been to the last night of the proms. 103 and 59 afterwards. We're going to start seeing the first Springhead Harrier runner home there, number 59. It's a very strong run from B. Watson. He's run some very good times in half marathons recently. Well run. And here we see number 26 coming home. Number 26 is C. Dawkins of Grimsby Harriers. He's run strongly once more as well. 2:46.48 at this particular point in time. And we're going to see the runners gradually coming in an ever-thickening number at this particular point. So the gap between them is certainly a particular moment. We've got Alf Woods coming in, certainly number 52, and also we've got number 71 at this particular moment, R. Franklin, Steel City Striders. Another Scunthorpe man, perhaps the first Scunthorpe man. Well run, both of them. 2:48.46 for those particular men in question.
First man home from the school, like new club in the area. We've got a lot of runners. We've only got 3.5 minutes, and really looks like Shane Payton's going to be disappointed, and he's not going to get up to 3 hours.
He'll be very pleased with this time. 3:14.59, and we've just got a view of today's runner going across the line again. Well, Malcolm's just been pipped on the line, but I don't think he'll be that bothered. He's coming in a time of 3:15.07, and he's got to consider that's a good run today. We've got so many runners coming up now, It's often quite difficult to get all the numbers, but here we see 268, a Radcliffe Athletic. I haven't seen him at any of our local races before.
Wind it up after this next one.
Right. Right, well, we're going to wind up the proceedings again in a moment because the presentation will be made very soon. We've got the leading runners in. We've got a couple of runners coming in. We've got certainly another Ghoul Viking strider coming in at this particular point in time as well. And I think after this particular runner, we'll wind our commentary up and we'll make our way through to the presentation, which will be taking place very swiftly because all the leading teams and that will have been sorted out at the finish. And this particular runner, the Ghoul Viking strider runner, and he'd be very pleased with this time, I do know.
To get to the...
Yeah. 3:16, we'll have to switch over now because we've got to go over to the Radio Humberside van for the final presentation. Thank you very much.
They've turned their attention from welcoming home the runners in the marathon, and we don't feel that we should leave them out, but we have other things to do for the minute. They've turned their attention to our stage here as we present the prizes on stage for the 1985 Humber Bridge Marathon. I'd like our people here to give a very warm welcome to the lady who set the marathon off in Hull, in the Boothferry Road there, just outside the Costello playing field. She tells me she jogged a little bit of the way here, but look at the heels. Ah, well, you can't believe it, can you? Welcome from BBC Television's Look North, Judith Stamper. Judith, if you join us and you can address our multitude here and the multitude on the radio as well as you present the prizes.
Radio Humberside have got 2 mics these days.
Oh, well, we're doing well, you know. We're doing well. Local radio gets a little bit better year by year. We have several civic dignitaries to present prizes today, and of course Judith here to present the prize winner, his £2,500. £2,500 goes to our winner from the City of Hull AC. It's contestant number 1, Jim Dingwall, who gets £2,500. Give Jim a nice warm welcome, please. And a kiss from Judith for Jim, who was remarkably fit. He really looked remarkably refreshed about 5 minutes after that marathon run. And there he is. He has a PhD in chemistry. He gets £2,500. And a beautiful framed photograph of the Humber Bridge at sunset. It really looks absolutely marvelous. Keeping hold of it. Oh, well, why not then? All right. So let's welcome on stage, if you will, contestant number 2, who came second. It's Colin Kirkham, ladies and gentlemen. Give Colin a nice round of applause. Well done, Colin. He's 40 years of age, from Coventry to Divers, and he was expected to come second, and indeed he did. All right, now we've got this one sorted now, because I recognise this fella. He was the fella, well, I interviewed him the other week on the radio, and we should say no more about that at the moment in mixed company here. It's Councillor Jim Payton, who is the Lord Mayor of the City of Hull, and he will present the prize to the 3rd prize winner today, who was number 3 in the running order. It's Keith Raymond Penny of Cambridge Harriers. Give Keith a nice round of applause, if you will. Come on, Keith, where are you? He seems to be perhaps still recovering somewhere. Jim, can we stand you down for a minute and we'll give him his prize in a second? That was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it?
Well, they come from Cambridge, you can expect that, couldn't you?
Good line. All right, let's move on to the 4th prize, shall we? And the 4th prize today is going to be presented by Councillor Tony Coleman, who is... Oh, we've got the wrong way around again. They've written me a list here and I'm sticking to it. There we are. It is Councillor Tony Coleman this time, who is the Mayor of Great Grimsby. And the 4th prize is going to go to Patrick Haudel, Patrick of East Hull Harriers. Where's Patrick? Is he around? Yes, he is. Give him a nice round of applause. All right, we got that one sorted. Lovely. Move around, gentlemen. Thank you. Now, this is where it gets slightly complicated. One of the officials here to help me out, because the 5th prize winner is, in fact, the 1st veteran.
The 2nd veteran, in fact, yes.
The 2nd veteran.
Yeah, our 1st veteran, Colin Kirkham, actually came through to win the 2nd prize, so we're going to give the veterans prize to Keith Angus from Sheffield.
Would you give Keith Angus a nice round of applause? And to present that prize, the Chairman of the County Council, Councillor Harold Dalton. Well done indeed. Keith Angus gets prize number 5. From Sheffield AC, he hails from Chesterfield, the town of the Crooked Spire. Well done to you then. And we've 2 more prizes to give today. Oh, quite a few more actually. Look at these. We've got a few more because we mustn't forget the ladies as well. Now we've got the 6th prize. Oh, now we're confusing you gentlemen with gold chains. Passing around here.
All right, let's go back to Councillor Tony Coleman, who is the Mayor of Great Grimsby. He's going to present prize number 6. This one goes to Malcolm Martin, another one from Sheffield AC. Malcolm is 41 years of age, and here he is on stage now. Give him a nice round of applause. Well done, Malcolm. Congratulations to you, sir. Well done to you. And we have a 7th prize for the men. And here is another man from the Sheffield Athletics Club. They've actually done very, very well indeed. They've got some 3 in the first 7 here. All veterans with the exception of our 7th prize winner. Would you welcome, please, William Dominey on stage, because William's going to receive his prize from one of our civic dignitaries who's going to grab hold of it again. This time it's Councillor Dalton who presents the prize again. Well done to you. Well done, William. From Sheffield Athletics Club. And he gets his prize. Now we got the ladies, have we? We haven't got the ladies. Just a minute, let's just check with our friends here. We can't get the ladies together yet. They're still mopping the perspiration from their brow. And Councillor Jim Payton, Lord Mayor of Hull, still stands here with the 3rd prize. Where's Cambridge? Has anybody seen Keith Penny? Because we want to give him his prize here.
He's still sat in the shower.
He's still sitting in the shower.
I'm sure he'll come along shortly, because it would hardly leave me with this, because I can make good use of the money.
I bet you could have known. Goodness me. I should think
The Lady Mayoress has got it on her eye for her charity, so be careful.
I thought you said she'd got it on the eye for a new dress, but no, we're not. Charity, of course. All right, would you say thank you to all of our civic dignitaries and to Judith, who's nipped off somewhere signing autographs, I would imagine. Say thank you very much indeed. Oh, she's at the back, hiding your light beneath a bushel right here. Thank you very much indeed to everybody who's helped out with the marathon this year, to all our civic dignitaries, to Judith, who set the marathon off in Hull and was here to present prizes at the end, and to all of you who took part, and all of you who cheered them along. Maybe next year you'll be taking part, and if you are, we'll be here to cheer you along. Back with music. Director of Leisure Services for Humberside. A cheque for £1,000 there. A nice framed photograph and a certificate as well. Glynis, firm favourite to take the title this year, with a best time of 2 hours 36 minutes. What was your time this time?
I think it was about 2:41.
2:41.
Thank you.
What about the conditions? I don't mean the actual organisation, but the weather conditions.
Well, both the organisation and the course. Well, particularly the organisation was very impressed out on the course. The sponges and the water helped tremendously today, and I must say that I think it helped a lot of athletes through. And as for the weather, well, it speaks for itself.
Please said, all right. Well, you got any more marathons in the mind yet?
Well, I'll probably wait now until the London, which is the trial for our Commonwealth and European next year, and hopefully I'll make one of those.
Wish you well, Glynis. Thank you very much indeed. Give her a nice round of applause. Come on, say thank you. So a smashing lass, done very, very well indeed. That's our first lady home, Glynis Penny. Let's just credit our 2nd and 3rd ladies home. Kathy Palmer from Grimsby Harriers was 2nd. She won the 1983 Humber Bridge Marathon. And Marion Jefferson for East Hull Harriers. She only started running 18 months ago. She has already run 4 marathons. She's run in the London Marathon. She came 4th in that this year. And she was 3rd woman home today. So well done to all. And they're still coming home. They will be coming home for some time yet. If you can stay around and cheer them on, you'll be very, very welcome indeed. Back with music.
Right, okay. Here we have the race winner, Jim Dingwall, who took the lead about 21 miles. Is that right, Jim?
About 20, I think, although by that stage, what's a mile?
Yeah, exactly. You seem to, when you did take the lead, seem to go clear convincingly. Did you feel that the opposition was weakening at that point?
Well, I was surprised to get away from Keith Penny, and at that stage, if you get away from someone, you're almost certainly stronger than them. So I just left Malcolm Martin, and I closed on him quite quickly, and I thought I should just go straight by him. And after that, it was pretty plain sailing.
Any effects from the Adidas Marathon, or did you feel that you'd worn it off completely?
Well, without being too big-headed, I don't think the opposition turned out to be very high quality today. And there's no way I'm at my best today, yet I still won fairly easily.
What about the conditions? The first couple of miles, of course, were very slow. Everybody ran in a bunch. Did you feel that the wind direction that we got could have been about the best you could have expected for today?
Yeah, it was pretty good for me because it effectively turned it into a 20-mile race. There were 6 miles jogging at the start, and having run the Adidas a fortnight ago, that's ideal.
Yeah. What's your next plans then, Jim? Have you anything else in line at the moment, or are you just thinking about getting a couple of pints down here?
Yeah, a couple of pints first of all.
Yeah, I thought you would do.
I hope to run in Barnsley in a couple of weeks and then nibble the Dublin in 6 weeks' time, though. I'll see how I feel tomorrow before taking a final decision on that.
Could you tell us what sort of training you've done over the last couple of weeks to compensate for having been run 2 marathons in 2 weeks?
Just easy jogging. I took 1 day off completely, and then apart from an easy fartlek this Tuesday, or 5 days ago, jogging all the days, and total of about 90 miles in the fortnight, so you're very, very little.
Yeah, and when did you start to feel that you'd made somewhat of a recovery, enough to at least give you a fighting chance today?
Not until the race today. I mean, I've done absolutely nothing in the fortnight to let me know whether I was okay or not. So. But by sort of 7 or 8 miles today, I was in complete control of the situation. I thought, well, I'm at least in with a good chance of running well.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Jim. You look very strong and you seem to run the race very well. You know, I hope it all goes well for the Dublin. It's wasn't in another 2 weeks' time. It must be the right sort of balance. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks, Rob. Cheers.